Hi everyone, Magnus here, and today I'm going to be doing another video in the Chess Fundamentals playlist. This one is going to be focusing on basic checkmates so that once you get your winning position, you can actually finish the job. So the first checkmate that we're going to be looking at is the easiest to pull off. This is the classic Queen and Rook ladder checkmate. I'm sure many of you are already familiar with this. You'll have a rook in an endgame and probably have just promoted a pawn to a queen, and you'll be in a position where you need to deliver checkmate in a position that looks like this. But what you might not know is actually the easiest way to pull off this checkmate. It's best to have the queen behind the rook when you're delivering chess to the king. So let's put the king over here. And you may be familiar that you want to have your queen give a check, the king moves, the rook gives a check, king moves, check, check, and checkmate. And this is a very simple process. You just move the pieces like that up the board and give a checkmate. But what you might not be familiar with is actually how much more difficult this can get if you have your queen and rook the wrong way around. And by that I mean, so you want to have the rook on the side which has the king closest to it, because the queen can hide behind the rook's barrier. So the rook makes a barrier, and the queen is safe behind the rook barrier, and the queen defends the rook, so that the king can never take any of the pieces. That would be illegal, right? So if you have the queen behind like this can be very bad. So say you're very low on time and you're just pre-moving this. Oh dear. Say you're low on time and you're pre-moving. You could get caught out here. So let's say this happens. Let's say the king moves here. You're pre-moving. Oh no. Now you have to win this endgame as well. And this endgame I'm going to be showing in this video, it's much more difficult for newer players. I've even had times where I've messed it up in a time scramble. It's a lot more difficult. So you'd much rather keep the queen on the board for your checkmate. You don't want to be blundering the queen under time pressure. Keep the ladder checkmate looking like this. Nice and simple. We go like this, this, checkmate. If you have it this way around, you can't mess it up. Now we have the two rooks checkmate. You might get this position if you've lost all your pawns, but you still have the rooks. The two rook checkmate works a lot like the queens. You move up in this ladder formation, up the side. However, once the king starts running towards your rooks, as you've seen that it did, the king wants to run towards the rooks so that it can attack them and potentially catch you out. But as soon as you notice the king coming close, you can immediately switch directions. Bring the rook here, the king might start to come back, here. You give a check, the king starts to come the other way, pardon me, and as the king starts to come back towards the rook again, you just keep switching sides, the king never has enough time, and you deliver checkmate. So this endgame is not too bad either. You just have to know the one trick: don't let the king get close, and switch sides. You gotta be on your toes. But this one's perfectly fine as well. Where things get a little bit more tricky is the classic queen and king checkmate. Now, I'm sure that everyone's seen those clips of people where, oh dear, they're kind of just flailing about. You don't know what to do. You're just moving towards the king, right? And all of a sudden, you get a situation like this, and it's just a disaster waiting to happen, really. You already know that the king is going to f6 and stalemating the black king. The black king has no legal moves. You're up a queen, and you just want to throw your laptop out the window. Yeah, it's painful. But the good thing is that once you've had one of these stalemates, hopefully you shouldn't be doing it again. You'll remember this pattern. And maybe you'll do it again like this, and then, okay, now we remember that this is bad as well, then you do it like this, and so on. But I have got, well, it's not my invention, but I think it's a very good technique. It's called knight's opposition. You can pull it off in blitz, bullet, however little time you have left. Say it's white to move. The way it works is you want to move your queen to a spot where you can pretend that the queen is a knight checking the king. And if you do this, then the king has to move. So because black has no other pieces, let's say the king moves here, you continue to pretend that your queen is a knight. You check the king again. It's not actually check, but you just continue to pretend. The king might move like this. Then you just say, okay, where's my knight square? Where's my knight square? You find this one. Okay, that's a knight check again. King moves here. You continue knight check, knight check, knight check, until the point where you can get the king to the back rank. Now I'll show you if you can do this earlier as well. For example, here, knight check here. You don't need to continue giving just random knight checks like this. As soon as the king moves to any of these flank rows, you can immediately find your square to cut the king. And the reason why you're cutting the king off is so that the king can't move up the board. And once the king is on one of these back files, you can just start to bring your own king up the board safely, and you won't have the risk of stalemate because you won't have your queen in an unfortunate position. You'll just be cutting the king nice and safe. The king has all of these squares that it can run around on without stalemate. And as soon as the king moves like this, you get this checkmate, which is called the kiss of death. The queen smothers the black king, and the black king has nowhere to move. And yeah, that's checkmate. You can also deliver your checkmate like this. This one's a little bit more fancy. You know, covering the square and delivering the check. Or you can give like the simple back rank checkmate. But I think the easiest every time, get your queen on one of these. So you have your queen in this box. You have their king on one of these. Your queen cuts the king. You leave the queen safely on the other side of the king with lots of space. You run your own king up the board. Don't get the king involved until the black king is on one of these back ranks. And as soon as you get your king nice and close, you just put your queen right on top of the black king, right here. Not here, because then the king can run, but here. And then the king has nowhere to run. If you can just try and visualize the fact that you say, I go here, where's black going to go? That's the thought process you have to be having. You say, where's black going to go if I go here? You'll say, okay, can I go here? No. Can I go here? No, because the queen's covering both of these. Here, no. King and queen cover. Here, no. And if you do that, then you'll be successful in catching the king. You won't just be giving checks, because you'll see that if I give this check, okay, where can the king go? You'd be like, not here, not here, not here, not here. The king goes here, and the king escapes. Well, not quite. You'll catch it eventually, but you get the point. So this is a pretty foolproof method to the queen and king checkmate. I don't want to be seeing any more stalemates. That's not okay. But finally, we have the king and rook. Now this I'll admit, this is difficult. You probably won't need this to get over 1000. But at the same time, if you can learn it, it's nice to know. The technique that I use is not the most efficient. What I'd try and do is cut the king. So wherever possible, you want the king to be moving back into the position. I think it's easier to visualize up and down. You can also force the king this way. I just think it's much easier to see like this if you're a beginner. So let's say that, yeah, the king was here. I just went rook h4, cutting off the king. King has to move. I move up my king. If they ever do something stupid and just move back, you just cut. Simple. You take away more squares. And you want to try and think of this process as just taking away all the squares that you possibly can. King moves up. Their king goes here. Now what you want to do is just restrict the king to smaller and smaller boxes. And so when I see this king go here, what I think is I want to put my rook here. And then the king is now in this box here. The king is in a smaller box. So the king goes here. Let's say their king goes here. I put the king in a smaller box again. now the king is restricted to just these squares. The king can go here, for example. The king goes here, the king goes here. The king remains in this small box, but now they have to move. They move, I make the box smaller. They move again, say here. Then I would go in here. And if they go there, make the box smaller. Here. Here. Up. And eventually, you'll get a position where the king only has these squares. And the box is so small that the king is forced to move into the corner. And you deliver your checkmate. Nicely like that. I can go and do some practice drills just against the computer, just so that you can see how to do this. I believe it's in in-game fundamentals, probably. If not, I can always just set it up. That shouldn't be a problem. I will just create the position. Okay, set up, there we go. And let's do, I'll show you the king and queen first. This should be against the engine playing the best moves. Let's try and hide this. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Oh, there it is, yeah. Hide, okay, there we go. Knight, you play knight's opposition. Oh. It doesn't seem to be moving. Hold on. Okay, I'll just play what the top line is. So the engine says king e6. I go here. I cut the king. Engine says king f7. I cut the king. Probably going to say king e8. There's the, now the king is stuck on the back rank. And I just have to move my king. They can't do anything. And you can deliver any checkmate you want. This is the easiest one to see. And then you win. I think the most difficult one to try would probably be the rook and king. Let's go to, where am I going? Where's the drills? Okay, I'll just set up the analysis board, set up position, clear, get the two kings, load this one up. Okay, so let's just try and get a position where the king is in the center and we have to actually do some work. Okay, they're going to start harassing probably. Basically, all the black king can do is just try and remain central. And now they go here. And you can force the king back. Whenever you see one of these oppositions where your king doesn't allow them to go forward, you can force them back. But they'll most likely do something like this. And then what I recommend is just start dicing up the king. Go like this. This. Wait, what have I done? Okay, let's go back. Let's go back. So you want something like this. Oh yeah, there we go. And when the king moves to the side, you can cut off the king again. Smaller box. King moves like this. If they go there, I can go up. If they go here, I can cut the king again. Same thing here. Actually, I think I might need to just triangulate. Oh, no, it's fine. You just cut the king again. They go back. You know, you cut. Oh wait, it's their move. You cut the king because they're now. I move up. They have to move here or here. If they move there, I'll move up. If they go here, I'll cut the king. If they go here, same thing. Now they only have two squares in the corner, and you get the checkmate. So that should pretty much do it for basic checkmates. That's queen and rook checked off, two rooks checked off, just queen and king, and just king and rook. It is possible to checkmate with knight and bishop and 2 bishops, but that's not the focus for the under 1000. You will almost never need it. I've only needed to checkmate with knight and bishop 1 time in over-the-board games. I did get away with it, but yeah, that should do it. I hope you enjoyed and learned something useful. And I don't want to see any more queen and king stalemates. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.